was too high of a price for the game. One user commented,
$15 is perfect for this game.
while another said,
£10 sounds about right.
to explain why they thought the game should cost $20, about what they sacrificed to release the game. The team spent 5 years working on Brigador, with most of those 5 years being full-time, working 6 to 7 days a week and 8+ hours a day. There were 14 members in total, and they funded the project entirely out of pocket. After platform fees and taxes, which the team calculated would be roughly 50%, without factoring in expenses, at a $20 price tag, the team would have to sell 25,000 copies to compensate themselves at minimum wage. With expenses factored in, and to give themselves a reasonable living, they'd have to sell roughly 50,000 copies. So let's work with that last number, 50,000 copies. 50,000 copies at $20 would yield $1 million. After platform fees and taxes, they would be at $500,000. $500,000 would give the team what they thought was a reasonable wage and cover all development expenses. Mind you, this would have them each making less than $12.50 an hour for the last 5 years. So it is not an extravagant living wage. Mind you, this would have them each...
Selamlar.
Aleykümselam.
Işık sağlık öğrencilerimdensin. Teşekkür ediyorum.
Geçen hafta yoktum ama.
Yok ama geçen hafta istisnaydı ya. Ona bir şey diyemem. Genelde diğer derslere katılım nasıl? Sorun benim dersim mi yoksa öğrencilerin uzaktan derse yaklaşması mı? Sence?
Bizim sınıfın sıkıntısı şu, çok fazla ders birbiriyle üst üste geliyor.
Okey.
Hani bazılarına katılamıyorum, unutuyorum sonradan da. O yüzden kalmış olabilirim bir iki dersten.
Peki hani sen mesela kendi isteğinle katılıyorsun, kendi iradenle katılıyorsun ama hani şey konusunda arada kaldım. Ben dersimi acaba dönemin başında zorunlu yapsaydım insanlar için daha faydalı olur muydu diye düşündüm.
Bence şu an sizin dersiniz hani matematikten daha işe yarar bir ders bence. Çünkü sektörü anlatıyor, olayları anlatıyor, geleceğin nasıl olacağını anlatıyor.
Matematik dersiniz oyun geliştirme için matematikse.
Kalkülüs.
Okey, kalkülüs evet o üniversitelerin zorunluluktan size vermek zorunda kaldığı bir ders. Biz de aldık. Şu an kullanmıyoruz ama bu demek değildir ki önemsemeyin dersi. Tam tersine bir kere alın ve geçin yani. Aynı şeye 2 kez zaman harcamak daha kötü. En az bir kere zaman harcayacağınız kesin mezun olmak için. O yüzden onu birde tutmak mantıklı. O finale bir kere hazırlan yani benim tavsiyem. Ama tabii ki sektörde çok bir karşılığını göremeyeceksin. Ama işte oyun teorisi kısmı mesela ya da işte Mathematics for Games diye bir ders alıyoruz biz işte kendi master'ımızda. Orada gördüklerimiz çok faydalı. Yani yarın öbür gün bir oyun motoru yazmaya karar versen orada öğrendiğin bilgileri açıp bakacaksın ya da var olan bir oyun motorunun nasıl çalıştığını bilmenin de sana sağladığı faydalar var filan.
Dersine mühendislik olacak mı?
Efendim?
Dersine mühendislik olacak mı?
Tersine mühendislik hiçbir derste ben görmedim. Fakat tersine mühendisliğe karşı ne yapman gerektiğini anlatan derslerle belki karşılaşırsın. Genelde kodu karıştırmaktan geçiyor.
Peki tasarımla ilgili dersler, müzik teorisi gibi.
Ondan emin değilim. Yani sizin ders programınızda sanata yönelik dersler olduğunu biliyorum. Müziğe yönelik bir ders var mı emin değilim. Olmalı mı dersen senin gibi öğrenciler için bence seçmeli olarak olmalı ya. Ben alır mıydım mesela? Ben muhtemelen almazdım. O zamanı internetten müzik composing öğrenerek geçirdim muhtemelen. Okay, we now resume the recording and we, like I said, we'll be talking about actual numbers right now. So let me share my screen. Okay, and yeah, we have talked about hardware and other software too. And now I would like to go over some popular software services that you can use to increase your productivity. One of the most popular ones is Amazon Web Service, and Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is a web hosting service offered by Amazon itself, and uh, probably one of the most dependable web hosting services available is AWS. It is scalable, so this means it can manage with a great number of players. It's flexible, and it currently offers 90 different services, including database storage, content delivery, and other features and functionalities. It has,
Is there a company that uses Amazon?
yeah, for instance, Minet uses AWS. We uh, pay out monthly to AWS, and it basically, what do we use it for? It's as far as I know, we use it for this distribution, for deployment, and it keeps our data. Uh, it's not the only option though. In some of our games, we use local servers, but usage of local servers are declining with each year. So knowing about those online services are a big plus. Knowing about their existence is a big plus. So you can suggest those if you have a older team. If your team consists of old members, you can suggest um, new technologies like those. And if you don't use these kinds of new technologies, online services, then you will need to worry about backups, uh, data storage, I don't know, your distributions, your analytic tools. You need to um, have tools for analyzing your data, etc., etc. And AWS solves most of those problems. It also helps you connect with industry leaders from all across the globe. Clarity experts can help you overcome any challenge that you might be facing at any stage of your journey, uh, whether it's scaling your business, raising funds, researching market trends, or sharpening your skills. This tool for entrepreneurs has got you covered with the best business advice. So, since it's a common tool for big players, you may uh, it may help you connect both with Amazon itself when you face a problem, and both with other users of the same service. And Amazon has a great user support. So if you have a problem, they try to help you out. Okay, let me, yeah. Sorry, I skipped some slides. Yeah, okay. Another software that's I find really beneficial, but haven't tried yet, is Zapier. So some of those tools, some of those softwares are beneficial for the marketing team or for the management team. Zapier connects your applications, and it creates a flow. So you can create a flow for yourself. You can create a flow of information like this. So when you get a new email in Gmail, you can copy the attachments of that Gmail to your company's Dropbox, and also you can alert your workers or your marketing team in Slack about the new mail that you have received. So uh, with this, for instance, you can get, I mean, you can copy your your Gmail messages to a workbox, sorry, Dropbox, or you can also collect your game reviews from Play Store, perhaps, and see them in one place. And you can also do the opposites. You can create mail groups and send them some Dropbox link, or you can also use these tool to distribute your beta release of your product, perhaps. So you can control your communication. I mean, you don't even have to use Gmail. You can add Outlook, etc. to that. So it's a good idea to keep those kinds of services in mind. That it's important to know them, that they're available, etc. Okay, another thing that I haven't used but I found people are talking is salesflare.com. So the goal is similar with that, but the goal is more towards marketing better. So with salesflare.com, you keep your sales on track. A simple yet powerful CRM for small businesses selling business to business products. So it's a customer management app, and it helps you track the situation for each of your sales. Let me enlarge that and enlarge a bit more. So you can, it looks like a Kanban board, but it's a sale process actually. So you can see the leads. So you can see that some people have seen your LinkedIn ads, Uber campaign, or Facebook campaign, and you can see how many you how many companies you contacted with, how many are qualified for the sale, how which ones have made, which ones that you have proposals made, and which one of the auditions you have won, etc. And you can also add the lost bargains. So it's a good tool for salespeople, I should say. Okay, another popular one is Stripe.com. Stripe.com is a website that brings together everything that's required to build websites and apps that accept payments and send payouts globally. Stripe's products power payments for online and in-person retailers, subscription businesses, software platforms, and marketplaces, and everything in between. They also help companies beat fraud, send invoices, issue virtual and physical cards, get financing, manage business spend, and much more. One thing I loved about this product is helping us beat fraud. Otherwise, you need to deal with that, and it's a really costly thing to develop, and you don't want to deal with that. And especially if you are having a Kickstarter campaign, this could help you out, since you will also be sending probably small items, solid items that resembles your game, and maybe you can send your players some t-shirts, etc. And also you need to make yearly payments such as license costs, etc. And you can manage all of those via Stripe.com. Okay, I'm not going to talk about all of those, but I just put a link below so that you can check out the discussion. There are other useful tools as well when you're developing a company. But basically, the approach should be something like this. If I have a problem in my business, I should be sure that there are online tools available to help me out. So just Google if you have a problem, and you will be amazed at the results. Okay, another expense you should keep in mind is legal fees. Obviously, you need to um, take you need to pay accountants each month, and if your game gets big, you need to also employ lawyers to help you with legal stuff. And also, if you have a dangerous game idea that can result in a lawsuit against you, I believe it's best to get advice from a lawyer before you jump into the developments, because copyright problems can hurt your process. Probably if Flappy Bird used if Flappy Bird didn't use green pipes, it would still be on the market right now. It would be still downloadable, etc. And it would make developer money, but he had to take down the game from the stores. Okay. Uh, Other general considerations are the cost of your domain, basically. Uh, if it's already purchased domain, you will need to pay more. So this part um, this part makes you think about your company's name and your game name beforehand. But in general, you will be spending around $150 on average for your development journey. And other than that, you may need to hire hot desk service. So those people basically deal with unhappy players, and they message things like, "Oh, okay, thank you for reaching out to us. We are aware of the problem, and we are working hard to fix it." And they may also report you those problems, and also um, they can help with purchases or making people get back their payments if they want to, etc. So if you're planning to have a hot desk, if your game needs a hot desk, you need to take this into account. We have talked about Office, but we haven't talked about utilities. So you need to take into consideration everything, such as papers you print out, your refrigerator, your copy machine, um, your foosball table, I don't know, your television, your PlayStation, if you are having one, your carpets, your decoration, uh, your flowers, if you have, and all those kinds of things. And also, you need to think about um, your car payments if you have a company car. In Minets, we have cars, and we also have cars are that we are renting if need be. And uh, also you need to think about taxes, not only for cars, but also your other expenses come with external taxes. And also in Minets, in our team, we have an external consultant, and if you have one of those, if you are planning to have a consultancy, if you are planning to learn a new technology, etc., you need to think about those. Um, eh, I I forgot to add about hardware fees. Uh, Sorry, I forgot to mention something when we are talking about hardware. So VR devices cost too much, unfortunately. And if your game requires you to have a VR, or if you are planning to promote your game in a, I don't know, game jam, in a public event, etc., you need to have uh, hardware available. Also, if you need to test out your VR game, you will need to have VR devices of different kinds. If you are having a mobile game, you will need to have mobile test devices. Uh, if you live in a foreign country, you can rent those test devices, but in general, companies like to keep it with them. So they buy mobile devices themselves. And uh, if you rely on um, if you rely on hardware, then you need to um, okay, this is an edge case, but if you are having, if you are selling an arcade game, let's say, to arcades areas, then you will need to think about upgrade costs. So every maintenance, uh, for every maintenance operation, you need to uh, reach to the device itself, and you need to do something with this device to fix it. So this results in uh, upgrade costs. And also, you need to take into account hosting upgrades. So by hosting upgrades, we mean stuff like when you host a game with a public with a online service, you start with a small cost, but once you reach um, more players, these services go um, raise their prices. So you will need to adapt to that as well. Okay, and when you're planning your budgets and when you're planning your time, you need to uh, consider holidays, obviously, but this is forgettable by even professionals, so I had to add that. You don't want to release on a holiday, probably, and you want to keep your um, developers available. You want to keep your team available. So if you can um, stick with your release dates and let everyone know about your release dates so everyone can plan their holidays accordingly. I remember a case when the lead developer was trying to get his daughter's custody, and because of that, they had to postpone the release hour of the date, release hour of the game, uh, since the company didn't want to take the risk of releasing the game with bugs. Without the team leads, it would be really hard to fix those. So uh, they had to change according to the uh, arising situations. And you should also add side benefits for your workers as expenses. There are many different company side benefits. Some of them um gives out life insurance. Some of them gives out free snacks. Some of them does both of those, and also pays for commute, pays for food, lunch money basically, and Mynet, for instance, pays for either YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, or Udemy. So these are all costs that you need to take into account. And actually, side benefits are a good way to have deals with your new coming team members, because when you give them a raise, then you need to pay approximately the same amount of money for insurance. So every lira they ask you, you spent 2 liras. But when you are offering side benefits such as I don't know, gym membership, lunch money, etc., you are only spending the calculated amount of money, so you don't pay for insurance. So it can help two parties to arrive at a common ground. Yeah, okay. So now we can jump into real numbers. Finally, now this is a funny parts. Okay, this is a plan I have for my Mutant Bugs game. We will see more examples, but in this game, basically, we have a this game is a multiplayer card game. It's planned out by me, and I took I decided to have 3 senior developers, 2 media level developers, 1 PR manager, 3 visual and sound artists in total. And why I chose this is because I wanted to reduce my marketing costs by hiring 1 PR manager, so that he can communicate with my future players via Discord or social media. And I lack the ability to market well, and I want to trust a knowledgeable person for this area. And also I want to release the game quickly as possible, so had to uh, I had to make sure that my developers can work at a foreseeable pace, foreseeable speed. So I preferred hiring out quality developers. By the way, these costs are from last year, so actually you need to raise them. If you want to employ a senior developer, you probably want to pay around 15,000 liras. And if you want to have a media developer, you probably need 8,000 or 9,000. So, okay. And for PR, I also want to have a high quality member. And also I have heard that artist salary is around here, and this was a kind of competitive price. So this is included here. And also I took text ratio of 71% into consideration. I have talked about how I arrived at this ratio. This is the resources that I have used, and this is the calculation that I have had. So for a 3,000 lira monthly payments, you arrive at a cost of around 5,000 liras. If you also add unemployed insurance fund, etc. And you need to obviously calculate with gross salary. So after I made the calculations for 3,000 liras, I, as a general rule, I concluded that total cost to employer, except food and commute, is roughly 71% higher than the net salary of employee. Apart from that, each employee will be paid for lunch and commute, and I have added those. But of course, those money, I mean, those costs have raised. They raise each year, and sometimes the legal situation can change. So I have concluded that 71% is about like a good estimate is 71%, I thought, but this could change with each legal change. So you probably will need to adapt with new legal costs, new taxes, etc. But okay, if we add this ratio, then monthly cost will be 51, will be more than 51,000 liras for 3 senior developers, and yearly cost will be this much. And we haven't include commute payments and lunch money yet, and these are easier to calculate. You have 9 people total, so you add this much. So you multiply by 9, and you then multiply by 12 for yearly costs, obviously. And for MacBook Pro, you need to pay this much, and this is a one-time payment. This won't repeat for the next year, but after 3 years, probably 3 to 5 years, probably you will have some MacBook Pros that are unable to work, so you want to renew them. Okay, you need to take accounts, take list licenses into account. I thought 1,000 lira for all licenses, but this will depend on what you use. I thought that I will be spending some money on already created assets. I have added that to increase productivity. I estimated an office rent will be this much. I added that. I have added electricity bills and cleaning expenses. Those are here. And I have a multiplayer game, and which I need a loyal and big enough player base. So this is why I have added 2 million liras of advertisements money. But my teacher said that this is a low estimate, and I agree with that. Actually, this should be around 5 million liras at least to get. I need to reach at least 100,000 loyal users, and after after adding one-time expenses once and yearly expenses after summing yearly expenses, I have ratioed it for 18 months, and I have added one-time expenses, and this resulted in a money this much. And I have also considered inflation rate and the raises I will give to my developers. So they will not only to my developers, but my team will increase their abilities and their productivity level, and they will be tempted to work in other companies. And to reduce that, I need to keep my salary competitive, and I also want to make my team happy if possible. So I had to increase their salaries after the first year. So I also calculated their expenses more after the first year. So after that, I have added a risk buffer of 20%. So this 20% is for all the things that are not calculated here. I may face a situation that I cannot predict beforehand. To mitigate that and to stay realistic, I had a risk buffer of 20%. So I added 20% more to the actual number, and this is the number I have arrived, both in lira form and both in dollar form. And since marketing cost will be higher, this will be around $1 million. So this is a pretty high cost project, but actually this is a medium-sized cost, I would say, not a huge cost. Any questions so far, Işık? Please say that you are listening.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Any questions so far?
I mean, what about the economy of the current times?
Yeah, maybe to reduce the risk, you may talk with foreign investors, and to reduce the risk, you may also promote your game to other countries such as United States or Europe, since they are richer and all the they are more willing to pay out. If your game is something like okay, or something like, I mean, really cultural, then it won't be possible. But if your game is something like a Hearthstone or something like Dota, it will be easy to promote. Also, I would raise my risk buffer to 30% if I wrote this paper this year. Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously riskier to create a game when your economy is like this bad, but it's harder to get an investment. But once you get an investment, it's actually not. It can be more profitable, since lira, since you are basically selling out your game to foreign people, foreign players. Okay, and now we will jump to the real examples from actual games. Let me check something. So okay, I'm recording now. Okay. So for your budgets, there are different games that talk about their budgets, and they basically reveal the details of their budget plan. Let me see the thing that I was looking for. I'm going to send the link to that, but yeah, okay. This was the game I wanted to talk about. So this was a single player card game created by two people and 4 freelancers. So it's 6 people at total. And they had a really limited budget, and basically they calculated their daily cost. I mean, you will, if you are working in your own projects, you want to pay yourself too, hopefully. So they estimated their own daily rate, and they arrived at this number, and they also summed the total freelancer cost here. Freelancers didn't want to make their salary public, so this is why they have excess here. And yeah, they basically wanted to create this game within 6 months. So they multiplied the development days by this much, and after that they had a licensing budget of 6,000 euros, and they also thought that 15,000 euros will be enough for marketing, and also they have added some operative support and some legal fees, and also they similarly had a pessimistic contingency if of 20%. So if something goes bad, they can still stick with their budget. And original budget was 90,000 euros, but after the humble advance, by humble advance, it's okay, their budget at the start was this much. So they had 90,000 euros in their pockets to start with, and they got some advice from a company called Humble, and with that they had enough money, and they sticked to that budget almost perfectly, and the sales were good enough, and game got some awards as well, and you can check out the details. I really suggest that, but basically they made a gross sale of almost $2 million. Of course, taxes got cut, and other expenses for if you release a game on Steam, etc., you need to reduce Steam cuts, or if you are releasing on Humble, you need to reduce Humble cuts. So if you reduce those, I mean, you basically cut around half of this, but still it's a good money to have if you have a small team. Yeah, so this is a general, you know, plan, budget plan, and time plan also. So, by the way, there's turnover too. After the initial week, people can give up on your game. People can decide to turn over your game, and this will reduce your income, obviously. So this is why you need to have good quality if you want to publish in Play Store or Steam. Okay, so you can I suggest that you check out Weather Factory, and uh, the game is Cultist Simulator, and after you play the game, you see this time charts, and after you read this article, you will see that how hard it is to create even a basic game, even a simple card game. By the way, the card game is not that simple, but a relatively simple card game can take months to develop. And what else do we have? We have another game. This game is what was it called? It was called Brigador. So the original payment was, I guess it's $25, and people have talked. People have said that. Okay, sorry. Original price was $20, and people have said that it's too much, and someone even said that €10 is okay, but $20 is too much. But the reply from the development team is this. So they talked about opportunity cost. They talked about the cost to create such a game, not by money wise, but the time and opportunity wise. So they spent 5 years creating Brigador, and by the way, they wanted to create a unique experience, so they had to create a game engine for this game first, and because of that, this took 5 years. This is I believe this is a bad strategy for a small indie team. By the way, you wouldn't want to create a game engine. It's too risky. I believe if you have no experience, especially. And they were working full time, 6 to 7 days a week, and more than 8 hours a day. Even at a very conservative estimates, that's over 10,000 hours of work per person. And there are 4 people working on this project. They did not do a Kickstarter. They did not have a publisher. They have funded this project out of their own pockets. And you can do a lot of things in 5 years. You can get a PhD. You can get married and have 2 children. You can earn this much at a minimum wage before taxes. You can win the election and serve a term as a president in United States. You can fight a world war. You can do many things within 5 years. And because of that, they basically want the return for their time. They want to break out even, at least. And to persuade even more, they gave a list of things that cost more than $20. A toilet plunger, a trash can, single article of Calvin Klein men's underwear, um, a calendar, or a Nickelback poster. So they,
I'm curious about the fruitcake.
yeah, okay. There's even a link to that. So let's check this out. Oh, okay. It's a dangerous site apparently. Yeah. So
Ugly.
this ugly thing costs uh, the same with this game. So basically, they are defending their position with this article, and this is the link is in the description of this uh, this YouTube video, so you can go check that. And what else do we have here? We also have, okay, this is Cultist Simulator's production plan. By the way, I really suggest checking out weatherfactory.biz. They have uh, they have a blog talking about their development process. I actually suggest following game development blogs, so you can see where people are having problems in development process, etc. And you can get some valuable insights. Um, except that, um, what do we have? Okay, not this one. Um, yeah, this one is also a popular one. Shovel Knight. Have you played this one, Ushik?
Not yet.
Okay, this one is basically um, what was it called? Uh, a platformer game, um, which the developers paid out of their pockets. So the rough estimates of payments for an uh, American is $10,000 each month. This includes all the payments, and I say this was similar in Turkey 2 to 3 years ago. So in Turkey, one person's monthly expenses was around 10,000 liras, roughly, if it's a mid-year developer or something like that. But currently, obviously, it's more than that. And they were 6 people, and they planned that it would take 2 years to create this game. So they need $1.5 million. But the sad reality is they have only $3,000. So basically, they persuaded the team to work with less money, half the money actually, and to work to create this um, game within 10 months. So they adapted the game too. And they also obviously um, gave away their company rights, their rights from the game. So team had shares basically from the game. I believe this plan is really risky. I would not suggest you to do something like that. It would be really easier to, I don't know, talk with a publisher and get an investment rather than living with no money. But luckily, the game was a success. It sold more than 75,000 copies in the first week, and currently it has this much customer, and the team's original lifetime sales goal is like 150,000 players. So it already exceeded that. And they have created a second game, as far as I know. So this was a great survivor, but this isn't obviously the norm. So okay, another example, if we talk about AAA games, there's a Destiny. There's Destiny, a AAA game. It's an online multiplayer FPS with some sci-fi RPGs. So Bungie game company had a deal with Activision and Blizzard. Activision and Blizzard was recently merged, and Activision and Blizzard will be the publisher for this game. And basically, Activision said that the total budgets will be 500 millions of dollars, but Bungie CEO said that it's not even close to it. In a agreement, it's said it was seen that 140 million was spent for development and marketing, and in return of this much expense, in 2019, 50 million units were sold, including expansions. So if we think each unit will be around $10, then the game basically quadruples its expenses. Okay, perhaps they have spent some more for, I don't know, other expenses. But even if you take those into consideration, it can be said that this game tripled or doubled the expenses. And another game called Water Tastes Like Wine took 4 years of development time, and it spent it was created by a single developer, and this developer spent this much money when like both for freelancers and for himself after 4 years, and at the end of development he basically broke even, so he couldn't save up for the next game. But he broke even. He had enough sales to reach this amount. And what else? We have talked about Brigador. Like I said, I'm going to add this YouTube video link, and I'm going to send this link so you can watch the video. I really suggest that it's you can see the screens of games from that video, and you can check out the other links in the description. Okay, this is all I wanted to cover. Any questions so far? Okay, then have a nice I don't know, have a nice day, and
Evening.
yeah, evening, and see you on Saturday.
You too, teacher.
See you later.